How do we come to peace while watching footage of human carnage at the war front? Or when we hear of the atrocities against young girls and women in the Congo? Or when we see the homeless and the hungry here in Oklahoma? The domestic violence shelters overflowing, and the photos of earthquake victims in Haiti. We have to find ways to steel ourselves, or else we'll be walking around with our hearts outside of our skin all the time. So we sort of develop cataracts on the eye of the heart for our own protection. But it's a dangerous way to live with a blinded heart. Yet it's also dangerous walking around with your heart outside of your skin. And that's why Carlton Pearson calls life a sexually transmitted disease. By which he means that we cannot be fully alive without feeling dis-ease. So we need to find ways to deal with the dis-ease of this life. One of the best ways that we've found is creating communities of care and justice. We can't tend to all the world's problems, but we can make a difference here in our church and then work out from here. I could not care for every family in the children's ward during that fateful time, but I could care for that family of this church. Here at All Souls, we can and do train other caregivers to go out and spread the light, powerful caregivers like Sarah Gettie Burks. We have a church where love is the spirit that trains and equips people to serve. The truth is that people are yearning to play a meaningful role in a movement of divine and lasting proportions. Not just some people. I believe all people are yearning to be part of a timeless and universal story of purpose and hope. That's why we can never let our churches become closed. We have to be careful that we are not creating and sustaining barriers that keep people out. Our job is to invite people into the story. It's too good for just young people or older people or highly educated people or people who, when they settle down and have children, or able-bodied people or people with sight or straight people. That's why it's important for us to keep asking, who is not here and why? What might be different if they were here? And there's really only one way to know the answer for sure, and that's to welcome those who might be missing from the table. Unitarian Universalism teaches us that we all have the flame of God within us. By helping people see the light of God in others' faces, we offer an experience of saving grace. In the hospital that fateful day that I told you about, the mother in grief began experiencing God in a new way. Her friends also began to conceive of and experience God in a new way that they'd never considered before. In ministry, one of the things that we can do for people is help them to experience the holy in their lives and in themselves in new and powerful ways. Some top church consultants say, and I agree, that people don't come to church to belong, they come to be changed. We don't come to be lectured to, we come to be mentored and to mentor others. We don't come seeking safety, we come seeking wholeness. We don't come to be rooted, we come to be set free. The church and its leaders are called to be midwives, helping to give birth to the potential in others and in the community. We are called to invite people to be part of a story of healing and hope. You and I are called to create ever-widening circles of love and trust amidst an ambiguous, divided, and precarious world. And when we do, we witness people finding redemption and grace and their highest calling. There can be nothing better than seeing people finding redemption and grace and their highest calling. And deep down, we all ache for such fulfillment. We yearn to play a significant role in a movement of sacred and lasting proportions. And as church leaders, we need to offer such a role to anyone who comes into our circle. Now, I need to tell you that 2 weeks after I discovered that young mother on the pavement, she called me to say that her little boy was going to be released to go home. Everything turned out okay. It was a virus that had entered his body, that his body couldn't fight, but it finally waned. They kept him alive long enough that the virus waned, and it did not leave any permanent damage in its wake. That walk through the valley of the shadow of death was over. But I had one more thing that I needed to do to finish my part. After his mother and aunt and I finished our prayer that first day, I leaned over the tubes and the wires and whispered something in the boy's ear. I told him that I believe that he has more to do on this earth. And I told him that when he got better, that I had a wonderful secret to share with him. And I encouraged him to hang in there because I knew that he was going to like what I had to tell him. And when I finally saw him again, I shared the secret. That I know that he has some spectacular things that he's going to do with his life. I explained that I don't know exactly what they are, but that he'll discover them. Because he is a bearer of the light of God. And so are you. Amen.